What is up, gamers? Welcome back to another episode of Get GameSmart. I'm Steve, and today we're going to be taking a look at my first ever Mr. 100 perfect game in Teamfight Tactics. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I've played a few hundred games now, and this is the first one I've seen. Of course, the ladder is a little bit janky right now with the full reset at the beginning of the set. So maybe the lobby isn't quite as strong as I'm used to, but nevertheless, it was a really fun game, and let's look at how I did it. So if you've been enjoying these videos, please feel free to smash the subscribe button, because it really helps a lot. Let's get into it, guys. Here we are in the VOD review, guys. We get ourselves a needlessly large rod start. In terms of item priority on the first carousel, definitely let me know down in the comments below what you guys have been going with. I definitely like tier first. Tier is like highest priority. I would say slightly behind that would be the sword. Slightly behind that's the needlessly large rod. And then probably bow over crit glove over magic resist over armor. I don't know. Those last ones aren't quite as important. But yeah, definitely let me know down in the comments below what you guys have been getting your games started off with. Also, just a quick little tip for everybody in the early game is that in these first few shops, you definitely just want to be hunting for any pairs you can find. So here we pick up the Kled pair, the Callista pair, the Vayne pair. Like, we're not really sure what we're going to be going yet, but we're just picking up all of the pairs. And actually, we get a bit of direction from that orb there as we do high roll a Nidalee. So the Nidalee actually is going to allow us to plug in 3 Skirmishers here, which is a super strong start if you can get 3 Skirmishers out, along with a random 2-star there in the Callista, which is definitely going to give it a big boost. But that shield of that 3 Skirmishers gives in the early game is just like ridiculous. It's like a 900 shield, right? 300 each. 300 times 3 is 900. So yeah, we just 4-0'd the first guy, right? Like, such a strong board. Yeah, Skirmishers, when you, like, little spoiler alert, guys, in the video here, we're going to be playing Skirmishers, but the idea is that if you do high roll a Skirmisher and you can pick up these other low-cost ones, like, you're going to need at least one 2-cost Skirmisher, either the Kennen or the Trundle, plus Udyr, plus some high-rolled one, right? There's a couple 3-cost Skirmishers, there's Nidalee, there's Lee Sin, and there's Pantheon, so you're pretty likely to actually get one of those out of an orb. And then you're pretty likely to pick up an Udyr plus one of the 2-cost Skirmishers as well. So it's pretty likely that if you get a 3-cost Skirmisher out of an orb, you can put a 3 Skirmisher opening together that is very strong. So the main idea of once you get the 3 Skirmisher in, what you want to be doing is using Udyr as your primary item holder for your Jax. So in the Skirmisher build, you're eventually working towards 6 Skirmisher Jax carry, right? Like, that's like our end game build. So basically, we're thinking about any items that are going to be good on our Jax are going to be placed on our Udyr for the time being. The other ideas is basically you just want to be econing, buying up all of the Skirmishers, and you almost always get more value out of throwing another Skirmisher down than throwing in another unit. It depends. Like, you definitely want to build in some useful techs as well, like Ironclad obviously comes to mind, Dragon Slayer of course, but more than anything, it's just about getting to that 6 Skirmisher breakpoint, and we're going to be very strong when we do. Yeah, you can see here I'm just throwing in the extra Kennen. This is partially because like I said, I'm getting a lot of value out of the Skirmisher shield, but it's also partially because I'm just trying to maintain a pretty lean board. And what I mean by that is that I don't have a ton of stuff on my bench so that I can try and hopefully get to the next econ point. Like, obviously I couldn't get 20 econ here, so I'd buy up some items to give, or some champions to give myself flexibility, but I know that I'm not actually going to be playing those champions. They're just buying them for some added flexibility, and I'll sell them back down to get to the next econ run in just a second here. As far as positioning goes here, like, Skirmishers, you usually just want to frontline everybody. I don't really love this positioning I'm using, actually. I think I would be getting more value out of putting, like, I think Kennen's positioning is fine. I think Nidalee should just be in the second row. Actually, I'd put Kennen on probably the very outside. So the Kennen, like, you usually want on the outside so that hopefully when he ults he'll go to the far corner where the opposing carry should be. So basically you should be placing your cannon the opposite side of the dominant carry. We do get a high rolled spatula here, which is super helpful, guys. As far as which spatulas are the best in the Skirmisher build, I would go with Ironclad over Skirmisher over Dragon Slayer is pretty much like the 3 most useful spatulas. I don't like using more than one Skirmisher spat though, because Skirmisher spats, like all the Skirmisher units, there's no 9 Skirmisher breakpoint or 8 Skirmisher breakpoint or anything, so you don't really want to go much beyond 6, and once you've got 6 in, you want to like tech in the synergistic traits, but you do want to hit 6, and you basically are gonna want to keep at least 5 of the Skirmisher units in the final build. That's like Viego, Jax, Pantheon, and Trundle, and you usually want to keep Kennen as well, because Kennen brings a ton of CC. So that's 5 champions that you want to keep in your build. So if you're going Skirmisher spats, I would only build 1 Skirmisher spat. Pretty rare that you're going to have 2 spatulas in a game and not build a fawn anyways, so that's probably not super relevant, but just something I wanted to note. And yeah, this board is taking care of everybody, including all of these Leblanc abusers, guys. I am super looking forward to a Leblanc nerf. I have obviously been playing it when it's been handed to me, and it doesn't feel good even when I'm on the winning side of it. So I am definitely of the opinion that that needs to be nerfed, and hopefully it'll be nerfed tomorrow kind of thing, or who knows, whenever they roll out the next patch. I think it's worthy of a hot patch though, or a hot fix rather. Anyways, yeah, this season's been really interesting. This is my first full season reset, so I haven't been fully reset yet, back down to the iron or whatever we were all started at. So it's definitely been quite the experience where you're losing games in whatever silver or gold or bronze, and yeah, it's just feeling like you've got these diamond equivalent players playing down in silver and gold, whatever. It's quite humbling, but it's also been quite fun. We do get the 6 Skirmisher checkpoint here, or power spike, which is absolutely massive, guys. Like, 6 Skirmisher is really strong. It's a really strong mid-game spike. I kind of feel like Skirmisher is kind of similar to like Brawlers almost from last set, like set 4.5, where basically if you get a strong Skirmisher start early, you're gonna be win streaking naturally, and you're gonna be like kind of dominating everybody. And then they've got a really strong mid game where they come online, like at 6 Skirmisher or 6 Brawler from last patch kind of thing, and then they're okay in the end game. And I think that Skirmisher, especially with Jax in his current state, has a lot better scaling than Brawlers had, 8 Brawlers had back in the day, but I think it's similarly going to be like a super easy deck to pilot, and I think that like it's probably going to be one of my recommendations to people when they're trying to climb, because it's not rocket science. I mean, the positioning is maybe a little bit more complicated than Brawlers, so a few quick positioning shoutouts for Skirmishers is that basically everything's frontlined. You're going to want your Kennen on the opposite side of the key carry, so if you see a bunch of Vel'Kozes or Dravens or whoever, or Aphelios in the left corner, you want to be on the right side where mine is. You want your Pantheon sort of on the end of your stack, because your Pantheon is sort of similar to Braum, and it's going to just like absorb a ton of damage, like Braum's shield kind of thing. It's a huge damage reduction. Yeah, other than that, basically you don't want your Jax on a side either. You want your Jax in the middle so that it's not immediately like targeted, but you want them smacking up as quickly as you can. And yeah, that's basically it for positioning. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, you should be scouting more than I am. I am recording this game partially for content, and I'm realizing I've got a good chance at a Mr. 100 here, so I'm just keeping the board more or less focused on my own. And yeah, definitely a mistake, and if you want to improve your own gameplay, definitely should not be doing that, but I think it's a bit easier and more enjoyable to watch a game where where we're not flipping around doing all the scouting, but it's definitely something I need to improve in my own gameplay, and definitely something that's holding me back right now. So do as I say, not as I do. I shouldn't have 70 plus gold here either. I should definitely be doing something with it. I think I'm just not used to being so wealthy at this point in the game. And like I said, now that we do have the 6 skirmishers in, we are looking to work in those other synergistic traits as well. So the ironclad spat, as I alluded to, is super strong because, like, Jax is ironclad, and you're obviously going to be using ironclad once you get the Jax. You'll notice here we actually don't have a Jax yet, which is actually a little bit disconcerting if we weren't so strong already. Like, we've 2-starred a lot of our skirmishers already, so we're pretty strong, but not having a Jax yet is pretty sad life, especially when you're trying to aim for that Mr. 100 that we've got going on here. So the most dominant skirmisher build right now doesn't actually run 4 Dragon Slayer. It's usually 6 skirmisher, 2 Dragon Slayer from Trundle and Pantheon, and then Ironclad, and yeah, that's basically it, like 3 Ironclad, or 2 Ironclad at level 8 usually, which is typically what most builds recommend you for, is a level 8 composition, because that's where most games end up, even though there is more value, I think, in going level 9 this set. So here we are, though. We do get in the 4 Dragon Slayer. Mainly, I think I chose to do this because I've got a level 2 Mord already, and I've got 2 Dianas. Like, I'm pretty close to 2-starring both of those 4-cost carries. And this early in the game, I mean, I don't even have my Jackson, for crying out loud. This early on in the game, I just wanted to have some 4-cost carries, and so that's why I'm electing to go for the Dragon Slayer-centric version of this build. I don't think it's better than the Ironclad version. I think that 3 Ironclad is better than 4 Dragon Slayer, just because there's not a ton of actual AP scaling value on this team. I think the people that value it the most are, I mean, the Dragon Slayers themselves. Like, Trundle's scaling goes up quite a bit, like Mord's scaling, like Mord's already good, so him being better doesn't make a huge difference. But yeah, we finally got our Jax. We're able to sell off our Udyr and put on the Jax items. As far as I'm now going to spend a bit of time talking about just like itemization in general for the skirmishers. So itemization priority is definitely for the Jax. You want to have some kind of lifesteal, and that can be either the Bloodthirster or the Risk Thirster. I think Bloodthirster is slightly better than Risk Thirster, but they're both good. Then you want to have something that gives magic resistance, and actually the priority recently has been the anti-CC, so the QSS or the evil QSS even. Some people prior the evil QSS more because of how long the fights are, but something that like reduces CC and slash it's a defensive item that gives magic resistance. So in this case, I have the whatever it's called, Banshee's Armor or whatever, the Dragon's Claw, that's what it's called. I have the Dragon's Claw, but actually the QSS is probably higher priority in this build. And the third item that you're going to want is like either like an attack damage. It's an attack damage item, basically. A lot of people will like Runans, a lot of people like Deathblade, and a lot of people also like Corrupted Runans is also good. Caustic Deathblade's also good. Basically, any damage item is good. I used to like a GA on him, but that's not one of the items that's actually doing better on him right now. I don't think GA is actually in a great spot this set, but though I do find that it is an item I tend to build quite a bit on Jax. So basically, breaking that down again, Jax items, you want lifesteal, you want a defensive item, ideally that gives magic resist, ideally that's a QSS, and then you want probably a Runans item, or another attack damage item. Here I'm choosing to itemize my Nidalee as well. Nidalee doesn't usually get items, but didn't know who else I wanted to give these items to in the build. But the other items you really want in this build, so one item is on Pantheon, and that is a Redemption. So the reason you want Redemption on Pantheon is because that guy stays alive forever, and his his ability reduces damage incoming in like an area of effect, combined with the area of effect reduction damage from Redemption, which I believe is 30% reduction of area of effect damage. Like, he just reduces and mitigates so much damage, he makes the rest of your guys so much tankier. So a Redemption on Pantheon is core to this build. And the other item that is core to this build is a Morello, or an Evil Morellonomicon on the Kennen. So yeah, that was core on him last set. He's actually more like a Rakan, or like actually a Pike, I think is the, I think he's pretty much identical to Pike's kit in the last set, so putting a Morellonomicon on Kennen, either type is really, really good and like core to this build. So itemize your Jax items, then get a Redemption on your Pantheon, and a Morello on your Kennen, and you are off to the races as far as itemization goes. I can't guarantee that you're going to have a 100% win rate here, or go and have another clean 100 game like this one, but I do think that Skirmishers are a very good composition for getting the 100% win rate, or the clean win, the perfect game, if you will. Mind you, I don't think I played this game perfectly. I'm sure I missed a ton of... Oh yeah, I just rolled past a Vigo, guys. So we can say, yeah, I'm playing this game perfectly. I haven't lost a match, but I literally just griefed myself by rolling past a Vigo, which is of course like the next carry that you want to itemize in this set. In this composition. Yeah, Vigo's like a hidden OP right now, I think. Like, he's the only legendary that's splashable, really, so the fact that he's in Skirmishers, of course, makes Skirmishers strong. And that's it, guys. It's good enough for a win. Thank you very much for watching. Do like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.